WMMS.
35192, and send a text. AlanCoxShow.com. You want to watch? Here's Dave Grohl playing with 9 Inch Nails from a few years ago. Josh Freese is the new drummer now for Foo Fighters. They closed out Sonic Temple over the weekend. And they did kind of a big long, because he has played for so many bands over the years. They did kind of a multi-band tribute. You weren't there on Sunday night, were you?
No,
you were there
went,
on Friday.
Yes, Brian and I went on Friday, and he was gonna go back Sunday, but he didn't want to go by himself, so he didn't go back because he was like, "Man, it'd be really cool to see the Foo Fighters, but I don't want." He didn't want to go alone and then also not get home till 3 a.m.
Right. Yeah, they covered a lot of ground because Josh Freese, Dave Grohl basically said if it wasn't for Josh Freese, the Foo Fighters would not have gone on. But he's played with Devo for a long, long time, and he would go out with 9 Inch Nails and Perfect Circle, and so they did a handful of, they did March of the Pigs with Foo Fighters. I think they did Whip It with Josh Freese. And the new Foo record is coming out this Friday. It's got it for those of you getting a physical copy of it. It has just a plain white cover. It's called But Here We Are. And so the first Foo Fighters show was about a week or so ago. And I don't know if Sonic Temple was the second one or not with Josh Freese. But there was a lot of video online, people who shot parts of their set. Did you like Queens of the Stone Age? I told you were gonna.
Dude, we had a blast. We had so much fun all day. So I found one band that I liked that I didn't know that I liked.
Yeah.
Blackstone Cherry.
I told you.
They are like... not kind of Nickelbacky, kind of Buck Cherry.
There's a
like
Southern
that.
Rocky kind of vibe to it.
Little butt rocky.
Yeah, I loved it. They have a song called White Trash Millionaire, and I was like, oh my God, they wrote this song about me. Like,
I told you last week. I go, you're going to like Blackstone Cherry.
I did. I really enjoyed them. And then Chevelle, I knew 2 of their songs, so that was cool to actually know something. And then Queens of the Stone Age, well, there was a break where Brian went to see Knocked Loose.
Yep.
Which might be the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Not for you?
No. That was like, because when they were not having something on the main stage, like the stadium stage, there were 2 side stages. They still played the audio and the video in the main stage. So I'm sitting in the stadium, so screamy and so like, it's almost like whiny screaming. I don't know how to describe it. It's like really high-pitched screaming, it felt like. And it was absolutely horrendous. And Brian went and he was dancing around. He came back all sweaty and red-faced, and I was like, was that your favorite thing? He's like, dude, this is so amazing. He was like so happy that he got to see that.
It was so sick, bro.
Yeah, seriously.
It was so sick.
He loved it.
When you said so horrendous, you sounded like Simon Cowell. That was so utterly horrendous.
Horrendous. It was really bad. But then Queens of the Stone Age... They were great.
Yeah,
like,
they're
just
fantastic.
Solid,
Never a bad set from them.
Great music. I knew one. They opened with a song that I knew. Oh no, I only knew 2. They didn't play 3s and 7s, which is the Guitar Hero song that I know.
They did Little Sister.
How does that one go?
It's got the wood block at the beginning. I played it last week.
No, not that. They opened with a. Oh God.
Oh, they opened with No One Knows.
How does that one go?
Hold on. Queens of Stone Age.
I recognized as soon as he started playing it. I'm like, oh, I think I know this one. So the whole day I knew like 3 songs, but they killed it. Yes. Dun, 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 dun.
This is Dave Grohl playing with them. Did Grohl play with them at all?
Brian was sitting on the edge of his seat. He's like, I swear to God, if Dave Grohl doesn't come out, that would be the end of my life. I hope Dave Grohl
Well,
comes
because
out.
I think these guys are getting out like day of their set. They're not
Yeah.
hanging out for the weekend in Columbus.
Well, and he's from Youngstown, right? So I was like, he probably went home.
Warren, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they killed
Well,
it.
he was like born there. I don't think he's lived there. I don't know if he's got anybody left there.
Oh, I didn't know.
There's a Dave Grohl alley.
Yes, there is. My mom was having lunch there one day, and she sent me a picture. She's like, "Do you know who this guy is? You ever heard of this band?"
It was Dave
I was like,
Grohl.
"Yeah, Dave Grohl." Like
God.
she sent me like
Well, your
a
mom's
picture
not
of
really
Dave
into
Grohl.
music,
Yeah, not at all. So that
Okay,
was
who
so
are you
funny.
making fun of, by the way? Play this guy Black Sabbath, and he's like, Sting?
I think
Who are
it's
you
cute.
laughing at?
I think it's cute. 'Cause my
Yeah,
mom would
you
do the
think it's
same
cute.
thing. My mom would do the same thing.
Your mom, you would do the same thing.
No, I wouldn't even send a picture because I wouldn't care.
This guy.
I would never take a picture. Hey, there's this guy on this wall. Can you guys help me guess? I would walk right past and probably, get a snack or something. I don't know.
Get a snack.
I was gonna say pee, but that would be disrespectful.
So Sonic Temple was Okay, have you heard of the chick Dorothy, the band Dorothy?
Yes.
Alan?
Mhm.
Do you know what she's all about?
What do you mean?
She went to rehab and got saved.
Yep.
And so now a lot of her set is like thanking Jesus.
Yep.
And she spoke in tongues during her set.
Mhm.
And she was like, you all just witnessed a gift from God. And I'm like, yo, read the room. Like, there are people.
Say goodbye to your career.
I was like, what are you doing? I don't know how recently the rehab and
Sounds
getting
recent
saved.
to me. She's been around a long time, boy.
Well, she's speaking in tongues, and Brian's looking at me. I was like, dude, she's legitimately having like a yes.
But with heavy metal music underneath it.
Well, and the thing was, it was like, and her banter and her riffing between songs was mostly religious. And I'm like, there are people with literal satanic tattoos on their body right now. Like, I get it that you're.
Maybe
you know,
she's proselytizing to them when they're not on stage.
It was.
She finds them in the back. They're like, "Oh no!" They like try to scoot off to the side before she sees them.
I thought it was very. Just strange, I thought. I mean, if you feel some way and you know, religious people certainly don't back down from a challenge of speaking in tongues in front of a bunch of Satan worshipers.
Right.
But yeah, it was crazy. I was like, this is like why it caught me off guard. That was the last thing I expected to see at Sonic Temple was someone preaching the word of God. She's quoting Bible scriptures in between
It's
metal
pretty.
songs.
Yeah, they've been around a while, and it's pretty recent because I think like her guitar player overdosed while they were on tour or something, and maybe she found Jesus that way. I don't know, but
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But it was pretty crazy. One thing I saw there that was awesome, they had a tent. So there's tents of vendors and artists and food and all that, but they had a tent, and the title on the tent was Sober Temple. And it was a place you could go and have like water and pop, and people were hanging out and they had candy and stuff. And they also had meetings twice during the day. So every day, if like you're a sober person and you wanted to still enjoy the music festival, this was a place you could go like hang out with other sober people. And like if you
everybody's drinking Liquid Death.
yeah, probably, honestly. And have like, they did 30-minute meetings. Like, it's not big. Everyone just kind of goes around. You keep your shared 2 minutes, just talk about the music or whatever you want. And then I thought that was the coolest thing.
How progressive is that?
I have never been to any kind of a music festival or a fair, any event like that where there's like sober representation. I thought that was really, really awesome.
I don't think that is the first time they've done that, by the way.
At Sonic Temple?
At Sonic Temple, yeah.
That I don't know. Obviously, it was my first time, but I have never seen that at any other like large scale event. And
Well,
I
I mean,
was like, this is
Lollapalooza's had
awesome.
one for a while. Like if you go to like the New Orleans Jazz Fest, they've got one. I think it's becoming more of a thing.
I loved it.
It
I
should
was
be, because why not?
Yeah, I was like, this is incredible that this is like an option, you know?
Yeah.
That's
Lollapalooza's
really
been
cool.
doing it for a long time. But, yeah, no, good for them.
Yeah, that was really cool. I
But
walked
you don't
up
want to go
and
hang. There's no fun being had in there. I mean,
Just-
you want to go in.
these losers. sitting there.
Well, I'm not saying that, but it's no fun being had. Hey, want some candy?
Yes, I
No.
love candy.
Going to see Knocked Loose. What are you
Oh.
talking about?
It's playing in the background. I'm like, I actually do need a meeting to keep me on track for listening to this. But
Thank God you're here.
Queens of the Stone Age, back to them. They said that night, Friday, was their first gig in 5 years.
Yeah, they haven't played out in quite a while. This was a big deal that they got them on that Sonic Temple.
Yeah, their lead singer is a weirdo.
Josh Homme, he probably grew his hair out and his beard and everything.
Yes, but
Yeah.
he's just like he's a weird dude. The stuff that he was saying,
Living in the desert, they'll do it to you.
is that what he's doing?
Well, they're like a stoner band that was kind of born out of that whole desert rock thing, and yeah.
So,
He's living out in, I don't know where, 29 Palms or...
I don't know what it was, but like his in-between song banter was super weird. There were a lot of kids there, which I was actually surprised by. Like ages like 4 to teenagers. There was a ton of kids. He pointed to one kid in the crowd and he goes, "You having a good time?" And the kid's like, "Woo." He's like, "Oh, this guy, he's probably a teenager." Everybody's cheering, he's including the kid. And he goes, "Don't worry, man. One day you're going to get Me Too'd and it's all going to be gone." And we were like, what the hell?
Well, he had a really bad divorce, too, so...
Did
Yeah, some years ago. It's not fresh. I don't know if he's remarried, but...
He was saying weird stuff like that the whole time, where he's just pulling like things out of nowhere and randomly talking about wokeness. But then he was like, the right is wrong. And we're all like, what are you doing, dude? Get it together.
I mean, he's not wrong. If you're not careful, you're going to get Me Too down the road. But, who knows who that kid's going to grow up to be.
but what a weird
There was a
time.
4-year-old Harvey Weinstein back in the day at some point.
Yeah, it was a really cool.
Well, I
cool
imagine
event.
with half a decade not playing in front of people of that magnitude, they're probably trying to get their sea legs back with their banter.
Yeah, it was
And
real
so
weird.
he's like, they come off stage. He goes, "Was I talking to a kid about me too?"
Yes.
Yes, dude, you
Like,
were.
did that
Oh my
happen?
God, was I? I got to get over to the sober tent.
Right. Yeah. There were so many horrible shirts and sleeveless sunburns and just not the most fit crowd.
Because there wasn't a cloud in the sky.
No, it was hot.
I was thinking about that over the weekend. I was like, oh my God. I mean, the other than a breezes were nice, but that doesn't really matter when you're in a place that big.
No.
You can't really feel them because it's so many people.
Yep.
And so, but not a cloud in the sky. I was like, oh God, for a festival weekend.
Yeah, it was real hot. There was so many. The one dude, I took a couple pictures of the shirts. I tried to send them to the group chat, but I had like no service out there. The one dude's shirt said, "Eat pee," like the woman, chug whiskey, hail Satan. That was, and I'm like, okay. Another guy's shirt said something about I was trying to get pictures of these people, but they were just so far away. It was I can't say any of them on air. It was a like a blow pop. Like the sucker, but instead of gum sucker, it was
Jeez.
replaced. Yes, that's why I'm like, these a lot of profanity.
Like the dude I saw in Target.
Yes.
With that tank top.
Where you're just, this is such an abrasive shirt
Yeah.
to wear in public
Oh, it's for the festival.
that you cut the sleeves off. It was just great people watching. But yeah, we had a really, really good time.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing. I took notes on my phone of the things I want to talk about with Sonic Temple. There was one stand that had like wraps. It was like the somewhat healthy option of food you could eat. So we went there while Brian was at Knocked Loose. I went and waited. It was like pretty much their entire set. It was like 40 minutes. I'm waiting in line for this wrap. And I got a steak wrap that they're like, oh, it's just basically vegetables and steak and cheese. I was like, okay, perfect. That's fine. And then I take a couple bites into it, and it is covered in sour cream. And I'm sitting there.
No.
Here come the poops.
Well, I looked at Brian, and he's like, are you eating sour cream? I was like, I didn't know this was on here. And he's like, you didn't ask? I'm like, no, there's 500 people in line. I'm not going to sit here and ask them to go. They said it was vegetables and cheese and steak. So I
does
didn't.
that have any dairy on it?
Yeah, I'm not going to be that guy. And he goes, well, go back and tell them they made it wrong. I was like, first of all, no, I'm not walking to the other side of the festival to ask them to remake my $22 wrap.
Right.
Like, I was so mad. And he's like, you're going to eat this? I'm like, we haven't eaten in like 4. Like, I'm hungry. I'm not going to go wait in another line for 45 minutes.
Go do some recon on where the bathrooms are and get back to me.
So Brian's sitting there and he's looking at me. He's like, dude, do not eat that. Like, you're going to regret it. And I was saying how on air we'll always say, like, sometimes it's worth the diarrhea. And it absolutely was not. It was one of the worst
Not when
things.
you have not great bathroom access.
Not festival diarrhea.
No, you're waiting in line. You don't want festival diarrhea.
It was so bad. I was like, because when I eat sour cream, the first
It's
thing
hot. It's dry.
That's the other thing. It's
Oh.
82 degrees or
I can't
something
believe
like
Mary
that.
doesn't like Knock Loose. These guys are so good.
I'm going to take my headphones off.
Man, I can't believe you don't like these guys. What's the matter with Knock Loose?
What if you got to?
45 minutes of that.
What if
No
you
It's
got
an
escaping it.
acquired taste.
What if you got to be on the baseball field today, but you had to listen to Knock Loose the whole time?
I wouldn't go.
and
I'm
have
not even
infield
close,
diarrhea?
Not even close to exaggerating that I wouldn't go.
What if you got to play with the actual like players?
Me and
Listen to-
J-Ram hanging out to listening to Knocked Loose. It was so bad, Bill. But the thing is, like I said, they're playing it through because
Yeah.
the later in the night that it went, there was only one band on at a time. So earlier in the day, there's 3 bands playing at the same time. But at 7 o'clock at night, Knocked Loose was the only thing. So every single speaker is
just
connected
blaring
and
it, yeah.
blaring it through the entire play. I'm like, dude, this literally makes me want to throw up.
And they didn't have Comedy Tent this year, did they?
No, where
They
did
haven't for a
even
few
put
years.
it?
I don't
So-
think that. I think once it switched from Rock on the Range.
No,
they
because
stopped
I
the
did it the
Really?
first year they did Sonic Temple. I did it because
Oh, I thought they got rid of it.
like our show ended up getting canceled on Sunday because of a thunderstorm. But is that like days after Pauly Shore's dad died, and he brought Foo Fighters out on stage, and because we were back there, like I got to be front row
Yeah.
for Foo Fighters, so that was awesome. But yeah, I don't know why they didn't bring it back this year. But it's right on the, I would say the north side of the stadium. No, that doesn't mean anything to you.
Here's my point, is that the people who were there, it seemed like a nightmare to try to do comedy there. I was thinking about that, and I'm like, it was good.
It's
there's
always
no
been good.
way.
It's always been good.
Is it just people who want to get out of the sun?
It's people wanting to get out of the sun, but they come and they sit and they laugh. I've always had great sets there.
Huh.
Like, it's always been a very good time there. The only time it was ever weird was when they did a spoken word night, and they had, like, Tom Morello went up and he talked for a while, and Henry Rollins both killed it, but they did an interview with one of the women from Pussy Riot, and she doesn't speak great English. So it was just really choppy.
That's not the place for something like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure
And
they
then-
were trying it out to see if those
Yeah.
things would take off, and that's good.
And then
but-
Chappelle Lacey had to go up after that and get the crowd back, and he did.
Yeah.
So, like, that was a cool day. But yeah, they had it set up in a way, and they had it timed out so that the band furthest away would be on stage. There usually
Okay.
wasn't a headliner on the main stage, and they keep the sets short, and it was always a good time.
Yeah.
And then I got to have access to the back, so, like, you could just get out of the sun for a little while. Like,
yeah.
like very spoiled when I'd go to that event.
So, I mean, that was one of the things I was laughing at the most, is that I was like, because I bought this dress that I have not worn yet. It's basically like overalls, but it's black. So it's like a black jean material that buttons all the way up the center of it.
Mhm.
And it's like kind of rocky looking. I've never worn it. And I had it on with like tights underneath. And I looked at Brian, I was like, is this too much? Because like my boobs were out and I had lipstick on. Like I was going full festival look. And he goes, I think you're probably going to be uncomfortable. It's probably too much. And then we get there and it's a mixture of very unfit people without their shirts on.
Everybody goes hard at festivals.
Then people are in tutus
Yeah.
and big. That one girl had.
You would have definitely not looked out of place in denim overalls.
I was so mad at him. I was like, you told me this was, because I've never been to a rock festival. I was like, you told me that my dress was going to be too much. He goes, yep, I was wrong. There was so many sunburnt fat white dudes with just like they had the booby sunburn. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
Underneath is, yeah.
Where it looked like they had been sitting like a panda bear, and then they got that sunburnt. So when they leaned back, they had two little
Just a
boobies.
strip of white underneath.
Yeah, it was wild, but it was a great time. And
I guess it was the first night was really cold. People are telling me, like during Tool and
well, it
but the
got
rest of the weekend,
down to
did it?
like 60, so it wasn't. Queens of Stone Age went on till 9, and then I didn't realize I liked Avenged Sevenfold. We were listening to Avenged
boy.
Sevenfold on the way down there,
Mhm.
and Brian is like, "This is so bad. Like I hate this," and I'm like,
Terrible.
"Well, I actually really like it." And so we were debating staying, but we got down there at like 2:30. So by the time it was 9 o'clock, I was like, I would like to see Avenged Sevenfold, but I found out I liked them like 6 hours ago. So I'm not really that upset. And we ended up leaving. We still didn't get home until like midnight.
oh, you didn't stay over in Columbus.
No, because
Oh,
we
I
had his
see.
daughter.
Right. Gotcha.
So, but yeah, it was awesome. It was really, really great. I did not think I was going to have as much fun as I did.
Well, Mary will be wearing her denim overall dress at Buzzard Fest, August 4th.
There you go.
Victory.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. You can make up for it. I'm going to break here. If you want to send a text, 35192 to get me there. AlanCoxShow.com if you want to watch, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio app. The Buzzard's getting its beak wet in cans and kegs all over Cleveland. The Rockin' Buzzard Brew is back. Join us from 5 to 8 Thursday afternoon at the Brew Kettle in Strongsville as we tap the inaugural keg. Look for it in cans and ask for it by name. The Rockin' Buzzard Brew from the Brew Kettle and 100.7 Double Brew.